Don't be scared, but I know what you're thinking. The original Half-Life is one of the most beloved video games of all time. Can a remake really make it that much better? That's what I'm here to find out. Half-Life 1 was a groundbreaking experience when it first came out. The unique blend of intense gameplay and immersive storytelling completely revolutionized the FPS genre for years to come. Not to mention it brought Valve into the spotlight, which by extension led to the creation of Steam, aka the only good online store for video games. We have a lot to owe to Half-Life. It's also not very good. I'm kidding, that's harsh. It actually has a lot of redeeming qualities that hold up surprisingly well to this day. Playing it in the modern day, it's actually pretty great. It just has a long list of things that haven't aged well or were just poorly designed, even back then. It's not unbearable by any means, but it's bad enough that most people don't finish the whole game, myself included. I stopped right before the Zen levels, which are infamously abysmal dog shit, so I never really finished Half-Life 1. To be fair, I haven't even finished the critically acclaimed sequel, Half-Life 2, despite it being widely considered one of the greatest games of all time. That's mainly because I don't like it. That's a tangent for another day. I do love the original Half-Life, but I've never been able to finish it because of the various problems holding it back. But I have a solution. If you've heard of Half-Life, you may have also heard of Black Mesa, an incredible, kinda fan-made remake of the first Half-Life game that retains everything that made the original so amazing. If you've thought about trying Black Mesa but you're not sure if it's worth your money, this video's for you because I was in the exact same boat. A complete remake of Half-Life with updated visuals was already enough to get me excited about Black Mesa. Maybe this way I'll finally finish a Half-Life game. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. If we're going to buy essentially the same game for double the price tag, first we have to ask, is Black Mesa a good remake? Yes. They spent like 16 goddamn years developing this thing, which is insane, but it paid off. Black Mesa perfectly replicates everything that the first game was praised for and then some. Take the art direction for example. Every set piece, model, and texture, it all feels authentically Half-Life. Many lesser remakes try too hard to make their source material modern, and they lose the original artistic intent in the process. Like the Halo remaster, I've been told. I don't know, I haven't beaten Halo yet either. Hey, it's on the list. Black Mesa, on the other hand, truly feels like it's just Half-Life 1 if it was released a few decades later. That sounds simple on paper, but it's an impressive feat. Everything is higher resolution, and it all looks a lot nicer than the charming but outdated visuals of the original game. Admirably though, the art style still retains the aesthetic that the first Half-Life is known for. Also, it gets really laggy when there's heaps of enemies and explosions on screen, so bonus points for accuracy. To be fair, that's probably just because my ancient gaming laptop desperately needs upgrading, but I'm too broke to buy a PC. Surely this won't cause me any issues ever. That sounds like foreshadowing, but honestly this game runs smooth as butter. Think about what else makes Half-Life so iconic. Like I said earlier, the way the game weaves its narrative and world building seamlessly into all the gunplay and action was really innovative for the time, creating a design philosophy that defined the Half-Life series moving forward. Thankfully, the gunplay is still fantastic in Black Mesa. The firefights here are just as, if not more satisfying than the original game, making enemy encounters a blast to scramble through. The variety of enemies, weapons, and arenas make every fight feel unique and exciting, just like the original. Desperately trying to knock headcrabs off an elevator will feel wildly different to teaming up with NPCs to gun down zombies. Don't get me wrong, there are still a lot of fights that feel unfairly difficult, not like a fun challenge or anything, but like the game itself is punishing me for having dared to install it in the first place. This was an issue in the original game too. Excessive amounts of enemies just chucked in a room, unfairly placed enemy snipers with perfect aim. Honestly, they just love putting enemy NPCs in weird ass places to screw you over. Again, not Black Mesa's fault per se, but it's worth bringing up. And hey, speaking of the NPCs, everybody loved them, right? They're one of Half-Life's most famous features, or maybe infamous. These NPCs have not aged well, but that's exactly why everybody loves them. The over-the-top and ridiculous voice lines are so memorable and quotable because of how silly they are. Well, the NPCs in Black Mesa are a tiny bit different, but still just as charming as they used to be. Their AI has been improved, apparently, and they have new voice acting, which takes some getting used to, but ultimately does a good job of of retaining the best qualities of the original performance. I also appreciate the huge amount of brand new dialogue they recorded for these guys. They even hired the narrator from the Stanley Parable to voice some of the scientists, which made me very happy to realize. Another thing that's pretty iconic about Half-Life is the music, but Black Mesa probably couldn't just reuse the original soundtrack, so instead they made their own soundtrack, and it's awesome. Some of Black Mesa's most memorable moments are tied to when the music drops. The game is usually only filled with diegetic sound to build immersion, but when big dramatic story moments happen, the soundtrack works overtime to sell those moments. Joel Nielsen describes on his website how when he composed Black Mesa's soundtrack, he wanted to try new things while still making music that feels authentically Half-Life. He says he hopes it lives up to the original, and dare I say it, I actually think the soundtrack is better. Maybe I just don't remember Half-Life 1 as well as I think I do, but for me, Black Mesa had a lot more moments where I sat back and went, whoa, that music goes hard. So far, Black Mesa has done a pretty good job of bringing the best qualities of Half-Life up to speed with what we expect from a modern video game. But what about the parts of Half-Life that don't hold up today? Don't get me wrong, Half-Life is a good game, but you'd be lying if you said there wasn't a lot to improve on, which is what I've been saying about Half-Life 2 for years, but let's not open that can of worms. When I think of what Half-Life could do better, there are a couple of things that come to mind. First of all, the entirety of Zen, just the whole thing. Second, I suppose certain levels' design and enemy placements haven't aged well, like I mentioned earlier. And thirdly, you might not really think of it, but the first Half-Life feels really disconnected from the rest of the series. In terms of actual characters, there's really only Jordan. No, I'm keeping that, actually. In terms of actual characters, there's really only Jordan and G-Man, with Half-Life 2 introducing characters like Eli and Dr. Kleiner that are retconned into the first Half-Life story, which is an odd situation. I mean, we obviously never actually see these characters in the first Half-Life, which makes it feel a bit weird in the sequel when people we don't know start addressing us like we're old pals. Well, not anymore. This has been fixed for Black Mesa. Look! That's so stupid that I'm keeping it. Look, that's Eli. It's the guy from The Thing I Know. They did not have to do this at all, but I love how they still went back and tweaked the first game's story to better align with the sequels. It's so cool. It's like how George Lucas keeps re-releasing Star Wars, but like, this is good. That's not all that's been changed though. Like I hinted at before, entire levels have been reworked to flow better and just to be more fun. The On a Rail chapter, for example, received major overhauls to be a bit shorter and more interesting, as many people felt it dragged on a bit long. You can tell by these small but meaningful changes just how much the Black Mesa team really cares about Half-Life. Now, I couldn't tell you exactly how much has changed. To be completely honest, it's been a little while since I've played Half-Life 1, so it's not like I have every room committed to memory. That being said, I definitely had moments playing where I thought, this feels new, this feels changed, this feels better. And I don't even know if it was actually reworked, or if I was just being delusional. I think that speaks volumes about the quality of the changes, that they work so well within Half-Life that they seamlessly blend in with the rest of the package. It's really well done. Although, I almost feel like they could have done more. Level design wasn't entirely figured out when Half-Life released, leading to many levels where you seem to be making progress in one direction, but then suddenly need to go somewhere else without any direction given to you. I've got a lot of playtime in these games, and a decent chunk of that time is just finding where I need to go. I probably spent like 20 minutes in this single room in residue processing, because the game literally gave me no indication of where to go. I had to look up a guide, and even that didn't help, so I just kept guessing until I found it. Great level design, guys. Speaking of poor level design, here's one of the areas right before Zen. It's horrible. This ridiculous puzzle is the worst part of the entire game, I swear to God. It runs unbelievably poorly, even after I turn the graphics down to potato settings. The timing you have to go through these portals is so frustratingly precise that I fell to my death more times than I can count. And the entire sequence is quite literally a guessing game, where you have to trial and error your way through the correct portals. With everything that they changed in this remake, why in God's name did they keep the worst part of Half-Life. Yeah, this is the last thing I remember from playing Half-Life 1 the first time. I probably rage quit and uninstalled the game, and if I wasn't 4 months deep into making this video with 2 other videos in the works, then I would have been tempted to do it again. With all the little tweaks they did here and there to improve the rest of the game, it's so frustrating that they left this of all things unchanged. But of course, if we're talking about changes to levels, we have to talk about Zen. This is the big one, folks, the infamously terrible conclusion to the original Half-Life, now completely remade from the ground up. No, seriously, I mean completely. I honestly thought that maybe they just made slight improvements here and there, because with how well designed Black Mesa's Zen is, I assumed it was mostly done by Valve. But no, it's entirely new. That 16-year-long development time is starting to make a lot more sense. The new Zen is so far ahead of the original in every way that it's impossible to compare. IGN has a video trying to show a comparison, but the second Gordon actually reaches Zen, it's just an entirely different game. The visuals here are absolutely beautiful, even if they cause my game to run like a PowerPoint most of the time. The environmental storytelling here is also great. Seeing the remains of the first contact teams and all the gear they've set up is really nice. I also love how blatantly they make the alien tech similar to human tech. Like, you'll be moving around cables to power the leftover human gear, and then 5 minutes later you'll be doing the exact same thing to power alien tech. I like to imagine in the Half-Life universe that everything runs off these silly cables and comically large levers that say on and off. Oh, and the zombies you find in Zen that are wearing HEV suits? Terrifying. I'm pretty sure you could find corpses in Half-Life 1 Zen, but having that corpse stand back up and crawl towards you is super unsettling. And plus, when you kill them and you hear the same flatline from when you die, it's just really cool. You can tell the Black Mesa devs really wanted to flex their level design skills with Zen, and they did a great job. I think everything prior to Zen is still a decent remake of Half-Life 1, but this takes it to the next level. This is why official Half-Life devs tell you to play Black Mesa instead. That being said, it's not without flaws. I was already getting lost, even Black and Black Mesa, but now we're in a large open alien world where there's lots of distracting, fancy 20 FPS visuals. That, coupled with how dark it is, and how Black Mesa in general doesn't do the best job at lighting up important objects, it's safe to say I spent a while longer in Zen than I wanted to. It was great when I was making progress, of course, but there were 1 or 2 moments where I thought I was soft-locked because I missed a lever or something. Okay, the alien homeworld is pretty cool and all, but there is a serious issue stopping it from being the best it could. Black Mesa is a pretty graphically impressive game, and even more impressive is that it runs almost flawlessly on lower-end hardware. Except for Zen, it was foreshadowing. Once you leave Black Mesa, every single area except the final boss and the ending cutscene is unbelievably laggy. And mind you, this is after I've turned all the graphic settings to potato. Just look at this gameplay. Would you want to play this? A game running worse on lower hardware isn't that crazy, but what pisses me off is that I haven't had a single goddamn issue running this game until the very end. And of course all the fights are way harder now, and on top of that I can't aim because the game's running at 1 frame per whenever. The chapter Zen was one thing. That was a lot of open areas where there aren't many enemies and you can handle some frame drops. The one after, Gonok's Lair, basically unplayable. I don't think my game reached 60 FPS this entire chapter. Interloper ran just as poorly, and that chapter is 2 hours long. Thankfully for the final boss fight, it generally runs better because it's just a single room. But with all the geometry it throws at you, you can still see plenty of hiccups. Don't get me wrong, overall the Zen levels are a welcome addition, completely reworking the crappy ending of Half-Life 1 and making it into something that's actually fun. That's great. I just wish I could play it. I'm not saying that a game is bad if it needs more powerful hardware to run. Some games just need all that power to make the best experience possible, and that's fine. But when 90% of your game runs flawlessly, and then the only section of the game you made essentially from scratch runs like complete garbage, I don't think that's because the devs are just super ambitious with their project. I think they just can't optimize their game. Most resource-intensive games are like that for the whole package, because the game itself takes a lot of computing power to run. This game has proven to me for the last 11 hours that it can run fine. If it was a small drop, I'd get it. This is borderline unplayable, but I have a video I want to get out, and that's the biggest motivator I could possibly have. After grinding your way through the Zen levels and finishing an admittedly pretty cool boss fight, you finally reach the iconic ending where Gerald Mann offers you a job. It's basically the same as Half-Life 1, except the voice acting sounds weird because I'm used to normal G-Man. And with that, the core of Black Mesa is finished, but that's not all there is to the package. We also have a multiplayer mode, which I hope is improved from the original games. Seriously, have you played the Half-Life Deathmatch games? They aren't great. There's Steam Workshop support, where modders can create their own custom maps to share with the community. Workshop support is always nice to see. Even if I don't see myself using it, I'm sure plenty of other people have gotten value out of that. Black Mesa also has 50 Steam achievements, which can range from giving toilet paper to a scientist in a bathroom stall, or blowing up the microwave, you know the one. Most of the other achievements are extremely specific and hard to get, so it's great for masochists, I mean completionists. Some of them apparently involve a secret hat and something to do with pizza. Sure man, whatever. So overall, is Black Mesa a good remake? Yes. Is it better than Half-Life 1? Arguably yes. If you can run it, that is. Black Mesa does a great job of keeping the best parts of Half-Life 1, while also bringing heaps of little tweaks and improvements that enhance the overall experience. The new additions are all welcome changes. There isn't a single thing that they've changed for the worse here. One could argue there's no real reason to play Half-Life 1 over Black Mesa. Except, if you have a lower end device, then Half-Life 1 might be a better choice. That game runs exceptionally well on pretty much anything. Black Mesa, with all its enhancements and graphical upgrades, is going to take a bit more to run well. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're considering which version of Half-Life 1 to play, it's something to keep in mind. Clocking in at $29.50 Australian, Black Mesa is a tad expensive depending who you ask. Believe me, I'm broke, I'm not going to pretend like $30 is nothing. But on the plus side, I've seen this game on sale quite a few times for much nicer looking price tags. If you're confident you're going to get your money's worth out of Black Mesa, I'd say it's worth the investment, but it's worth keeping in mind that Half-Life 1 only costs $14.50 maximum and is on sale almost all the time. I don't know if this is still a thing, but I got all the Half-Life games in a bundle for like $10 way back in 2021. That's the second best bundle of games I bought that year, but that's a story for another time. While I've been critical of the original game's shortcomings, Half-Life 1 is still overall a pretty great experience. It's aged a lot better than some of its contemporaries. I don't know why Deus Ex is on my screen. So as to which version of Half-Life you pick, it's up to you. Hell, you can play it through Gmod if you really want to. At the end of the day, remakes may not completely replace the original game, but they're great options to have. It's free money to reimagine a classic title, as long as you follow in Black Mesa's footsteps and craft a well-made experience that fans of the original game will enjoy. Unless you're Nintendo, in which case you can basically just make widescreen ports with no extra features and people will still buy it. Maybe this is why I'm broke.